So do you also use Google Forms to collect the event registrations for your business? Then this video is definitely for you. So hello all, welcome back to Pabbly Connect, and in this video we are going to understand how to create Mailgun member on Google Forms submission. So with here I'm running a edutech company and we regularly conduct events and webinars for our company, and we use Google Forms to collect the registration for these events and webinars. So now what I want is that as soon as someone registers for this event or webinar, automatically with the help of the same registration details, a new member should be created in my Mailgun account too, so that we can create targeted email marketing campaigns for all of these registrants. So to do this, we are going to create a connection between Google Forms and Mailgun. To create this connection without knowing any programming or coding language, we are going to use Pabbly Connect. It is an amazing automation software. So do you also want to learn this process step by step? Then let me take you to my computer screen. Welcome to my screen everyone. So today I'm going to show you how I create Mailgun members automatically from Google Forms submission. As we collect the data through Google Forms, this automation allows us to seamlessly add the submission as new members in Mailgun. It's quick, easy, and ensure that no data gets missed. So let's get started with a really simple example. So as you know that I'm using this event registration form to get the event registration for my webinar, right? So let's say that my name is dummy user and I'm going to register for this webinar right away here. So as you can see that I filled all of these details, and now I'm going to click on submit, and as you can see that we have successfully submitted this. And now after submitting this, I'm just going to open my Mailgun account. From the left side of the bar, we have to go towards the send, sending, and then mailing list, and we're going to check that if a new subscriber has been added to our mailing list or not. So I'm just going to open this, and yes, you can see dummy@pabblytudes.com, and you can notice that the same name which we entered has been subscribed to this mailing list. So yes, this is the automation we are going to build in today's video, and if you also want to build this automation for your business, then you have to watch this video till the end. So what I've done is I've simply opened the landing page of Pabbly by searching pabbly.com/connect in my browser. It is very easy, and as soon as we're going to open the landing page of Pabbly, we are going to get two options. One is sign in and the another one is sign up for free. So if you are a new user, you can click on sign up for free and you are going to get 100 of tasks free every month. But over here I'm an existing user, so I'm just going to click on sign in. And as soon as we are going to click on sign in, it is opening all Pabbly apps. Over here you can see all the tools and applications offered by Pabbly. But in today's video, we are going to use Pabbly Connect because we are connecting different applications, which is Google Forms and Mailgun, right? So I'm just going to click on access now right over here to access my Pabbly Connect account. And as soon as we are going to click on this access now, it is opening my dashboard. And to start with this automation, we are going to click on this blue button which says create workflow, and now it is asking for the workflow name and the folder I want to save the workflow in. So over here I want to save the workflow in this folder which says automations, and I want to name my workflow as how to create Mailgun member on Google Forms submission, Google Forms to Mailgun. And then we are going to click on create, and as soon as we are going to click on create, it is opening the most important window of our automation, which is our workflow window. So this is the most important window because we have trigger and action in this. Trigger means when this happens and action means do this. So by this you can understand that the trigger is the commander for the workflow and the actions are response towards the same command given by our trigger. So that's why we can have only a single trigger but multiple actions following the commands of our trigger. So let's get started with our automation. For that we have to select our trigger application. So for my trigger application, I'm going to select it as Google Forms. So I'm just going to search for Google Forms right over here, and as you can see Google Forms, so we are going to select it. Okay, and after selecting Google Forms, it is asking me for the trigger event. So basically trigger event is the event on which the workflow will start. So here what I want is that as soon as the new response is received, my workflow should be triggered or started. So we're going to select the same as the trigger event, and now it is giving me a webhook URL, and we're going to use this same webhook URL in order to create a connection between our Google Forms and our Pabbly Connect's workflow. So what we have to do is first we are are just going to copy this webhook URL, and then we're going to follow this help text, and it is saying log into your Google Forms account on which you want to take the submission and make the last question as the required for the trigger. Okay, we are going to follow the same. I'm just going to open my Google Forms, and as you can see that this is the form I want to create this automation for. So you have to also open the form you want to create the automation for, and then you have to keep in mind that the last question should be a required one. So as you can see, the last question for me is a required one. Okay, so I'm just going to move on towards the responses right over here, and as you can see the option of link to sheet, so we are just going to click on this option and click on create, and as soon as we're going to click on create right over here, it is automatically created a spreadsheet right over here which is linked with my Google Forms, right? And now what we're going to do is we are going to create a connection between Google Forms and Pabbly Connect's workflow with the help of this spreadsheet only. So what we have to do is we have to go towards the extensions, add-on, and then get add-ons, and as soon as we're going to go towards the get add-on, we have to add an extension right over here which is Pabbly Connect webhooks. So I'm just going to search for that extension right over here which is Pabbly, then we are going to enter connect and then webhooks. You have to keep in mind that you will enter right over here as the same as I'm doing and click on enter, and as soon as we are going to click on enter over here, you can see our extension appeared. So I'm just going to open it right from here, and as you can see that I've already installed this extension which is Pabbly Connect webhooks. That's why I'm getting the option of uninstall. But if you haven't installed this extension, you're going to get the option of install right over here, and as soon as you're going to install this extension, we have to refresh this spreadsheet, and after refreshing this spreadsheet, what we have to do is we have to go towards the extensions, and you can see Pabbly Connect webhooks will appear right over here. Okay, so now what we have to do is we have to go towards the initial setup, and as soon as we're going to go towards the initial setup right over here, it is asking me to select the sheet, the webhook URL, and the trigger column. So as you can see over here is my sheet which is form responses 1, so we have selected the same, and now for the webhook URL we are just going to paste the URL which we copied from our workflow, and now it is asking me for the trigger column. So basically the trigger column will be your final data column on which if the data is added, the whole of that row will be sent to the webhook URL. So that's why we made the last question as the required one. Okay, so now for the trigger column for me it is J, so I'm just going to enter J right over here. You have to enter your final data column right over here and click on submit, and as soon as we are going to click on submit, it is saying setup configured successfully. With this we have successfully created a connection between our Google Forms and our Pabbly Connect's workflow, but now it is saying waiting for a webhook response, and in the notes it is saying do a test submission / record. So in order to capture this webhook response, we have to do a test submission or record, and in order to do this test submission, once again I'm going to open my spreadsheet, and we're going to go towards the extension Pabbly Connect webhooks, and as you can see the button of send on event, so we have to switch on this button right from here in order to complete this connection. Okay, so now what will happen is that as soon as a new event occurs in my spreadsheet, automatically the details would be sent to my workflow. So as you can see that we have switched it on, and now we are going to do the test submission. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open my form and click on preview form, and as you can see that now it is asking me for the details. So I'm just going to enter the details. For the first name I'm going to keep it as demo, for the last name I'm going to keep it as user right over here. We are going to move on forward. For the email I'm going to keep it as demo@pabblytudes.com. So I'm just going to enter the email right over here, and then we are going to move on forward towards the next question. And after entering this email, we are going to move on towards the phone number. So for my phone number, I want the phone number to be this. We are going to enter it. For the organization, let's say that I'm going to keep it as Pabbly Tudes. So I'm just going to enter Pabbly Tudes right over here. And now it is asking me for the dietary restriction. So I'm just going to keep it as vegan. It is saying what specific areas of automation are you most curious about. So I'm just going to select the same. And now it is saying how did you hear about this webinar. So I'm just going to select social media. Over here for the current automation experience, I'm just going to keep it as none and click on submit. And as soon as we are going to click on submit, yes, you can see that we have successfully submitted this. And now what has happened is that Google Forms has sent the details of our test submission to our workflow. So I'm just going to open my workflow, and yes, you can see that Pabbly has captured the response for the same. You can see all the details which we entered. You can see the first name, you can see the last name, over here you can see the phone number, the organization. Over here you can see how did you hear about this webinar. You can see the email, the dietary restriction, restrictions and the current automation experience. So yes, with this we have successfully completed our trigger step, and now what will happen is, as soon as a new response is received from my Google Forms, automatically Pabbly is going to trigger this workflow and capture the response for the same. Okay, so now further what I want is, I want to create a Mailgun member on Google Forms submission, right? So for the action application, we are going to select it as Mailgun. So I'm just going to search for Mailgun right over here, and as you can see the same, so we're going to select it. And now for the action event, we are going to select it as new mailing list member and click on connect. And as soon as we are going to click on connect, it is asking me to add a new connection or select an existing connection. So if you have already connected your Mailgun account with your Pabbly Connect's workflow, you can click on select existing connection and then save. But if you haven't, you have to follow me. Click on add a new connection, and now it is asking me for the API key, private API key, and the Mailgun host, also for the domain name. So to get all of this, we are going to follow the help text, and it is saying log into your Mailgun account. On the top right, select the drop down which will get you to the account settings. Click on API security. Okay, we are going to follow the same. Over here you can see the notice the API key and the private key are similar. Put the same values for same. Okay, we are going to follow the same. I'm just going to open my Mailgun account. Now over here we have to go towards the profile, open this drop down and go towards this API security. And as soon as we are going to come towards the API security, we have to click on this add new key. Over here we have to give a key description. Let's say that my description would be new registrations. And as you can see that we have entered this, and now I'm going to click on create key. And as soon as we are going to click on create key, over here is my API key. So I'm just going to click on this API key and click on done. And over here we are going to paste the API key. Also the private API key is same as API key. So we're going to paste the same. And after pasting both of this, it is asking me for the Mailgun host. And to get this, once again, I'm going to open my Mailgun account. And over here you can see that my region is US right over here. And in the help text, it is saying for US region, you have to enter this, okay, as the Mailgun host. So I'm just going to copy this right from here and enter it right over here. If your region is EU, you have to enter the same right over here, which is this. Okay, we are going to move on forward. It is asking me for the domain name, and to get this domain name, it is saying on the left hand within the home section, visit send settings and then domains. Okay, we are going to follow this same. Once again, I'm going to open my Mailgun. From the left side we have to go on send, then sending, and then domains. And over here you can see that this is my domain, so I'm just going to copy this right from here and paste it right over here in the domain name. And now after entering all of these details, we have to click on save. And as soon as we're going to click on save, yes, you can see that we have successfully connected our Mailgun account with our Pabbly Connect's workflow. And now it is asking me for the list, in which list I want to add the member. So for me, the list is this, which is event registrants list. Okay, so we are going to select the same. And now it is asking me for the address. It is saying members email address, so we have to enter the members email address right over here. And we're going to enter the same email address which we received in the previous response, which is this, right? But we are not going to enter this email address by copy pasting it or typing it manually, but instead we are going to map it. So you must be wondering, what is mapping? So mapping is a method by Pabbly which means inserting the data from the previous step. And as you know, our previous step was the trigger step, where we selected Google Forms as our trigger application. So we are going to map the details from the response of our trigger application only, and as soon as we are going to map these details, automatically my details will turn dynamic and change with every new response received. So over here I'm going to give you an example that it is asking me for the address, right? So let's say that we're going to enter the address right over here manually by entering like this. Then this will not change with every new response received because this is a static information and I have entered it manually. But let's say if you're going to map this from the previous response, I'm just going to erase this and map the email address from the previous response. So I'm just going to search for email in the previous response, and as you can see, the same. So let's say that we're going to map this from the previous response, then this will definitely change because my previous response will also change. So that's why we do mapping right over here to run our workflow in real time. And now it is saying yes to update the member if present and no to raise an error in case of duplicate member. Okay, so I'm just going to click on no right over here for the update. And now it is asking me for the member name. Okay, so here for the member name, I'm going to enter the member name. So once again, we are not going to enter the member name manually, but instead we are going to map it. So I'm just going to look for member name in the previous response, and as you can see over here is the details, which is demo user. So we're going to map the first name, put a space, and then the last name right over here. And then we have to click on this blue button button which says save and send test request. And as soon as we're going to click on this, yes, you can see that we have received a positive response that we have successfully subscribed this with the help of this workflow. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to open my Mailgun account and check for the new member added in our mailing list. Okay, so I'm just going to open my Mailgun account, and now from the left side of the bar we have to go towards the mailing list. And as you can see that this is my mailing list, which is event registrants list. So I'm just going to open this list right from here. We are going to scroll down, and as you can see, 2 recipients. So I'm just going to refresh this and check that a new recipient has been added or not. So I'm just going to scroll once again, and yes, you can see it has turned into 3. You can see demo@pabblytudes.com and demo user added right over here automatically. Yes, you can see subscribed. So yes, with this we have successfully completed our workflow, and now what will happen is that as soon as a new response is received, which is as soon as we receive a new form submission, automatically Pabbly is going to trigger the workflow, capture the response, and add a new mailing list member in our Mailgun account without any manual efforts. This is going to run in backend, and you can just sit back and relax. So yes, this was it for the video, and if you have any questions related to the video or the workflow, you can directly comment on this video. And for your reference, I'll just clone this workflow and share the workflow link in the description box so that you can access my workflow. I hope this video was helpful for you. Thank you for watching. So not only these applications, but with the help of Pabbly Connect, you can integrate many more applications. So if you have any doubts, you can reach us at support@pabbly.com. If you have any queries, you can reach us at forum.pabbly.com. And if you have any pricing related issues, you can follow this website. And if you find our videos helpful, do like and subscribe our channel. Thank you for watching.